morning. I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
Happy
Thursday na.
everyone. Thank you for joining us again. One more day, Friday na.
Yes.
Malinis pa rin ang weather. Maganda ang weather. Madaming pag-uusapan.
We have pianono for our brunch
and
today.
Of course, a nice...
Not yes. It's pianono. Ang aga-aga ba? Ano ba mag-uusapan natin today?
Madami tayong pag-uusapan
yung
today.
House hearing yesterday regarding
yung OVP.
OVP funds, diba, yung confidential funds.
Parang ang dami nagsasabi, saan na yung amo na contempt? O bakit hinayaan ma-contempt yung tauhan niya?
Yes.
And of course, madami pa tayong pag-usapan from sports all the way to, ano pa ba?
Marami yan, di ba? Meron pa si Mary Jane Veloso, of course.
Ay, we'll try to talk about it a little bit more kasi madaming confusion sa public. Ano ba talaga, uuwi, kukulungin, paano mangyayari dito? Mahabang kwentuhan pa yan, but we're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch. Let's start our countdown with some good news. Signal TV5 and 92.3 True FM programs swept awards at the 46th Catholic Mass Media Awards. Freedom Boat of Signal TV, 1PH and 1 News won Best Special Alert Coverage. Julius and Tintin para sa Pamilyang Pilipino snatched the Best Talk Show Award, while Kiddie Explorer was recognized as the Best Children and Youth Program. TV5's Frontline Pilipinas was bested as the best news program. And for our radio programs, Ted Filon and DJ Chacha got the Best News Commentary Award. Congratulations!
Sa mga award.
Yes,
Baka naman, Papu.
Ang lagay ba
Papu.
Ang galing, no? Alam ko special citation din yung Sana Lord, ni Lord de Vera sa radyo, sa True FM.
Baka nalilito lang yung tao. At that time kasi the award, yung kino-cover niya, 92.3 pa yung True FM. Kasi 105 na sila ngayon eh. Kasi bakit daw 92.3? Pero
yes,
yung part na yun kasi. So congratulations sa lahat po na nanalo.
Signal TV, TV5, 92.3.
The Kapatid Network.
Yes.
Alright, let's move on to the next.
CMMA.
On our top 9 is the UAAP Men's Basketball Tournament. The UP Fighting Maroons denied the UA Red Warriors once more of an outright Final Four spot, 77-67. Harold Alarcon unleashed a career-high 33 points for UP, matching Kevin Kiambao's outing against Ateneo in the second round. Alarcon's career-scoring night was coupled by a double-double from Quentin Miliora Brown, who finished with 16 points and 12 rebounds. The Fighting Maroons end up at 11 wins and 3 losses for the number 2 seed in the semifinals, while the Red Warriors have to wait for the result of Saturday's game.
Hindi ko yan napanood. Napanood mo ba?
Hindi, pero ilang binabantayan ko kasi Lasal kasi medyo biased ako sa Lasal. Sa Lasal.
Pero congratulations.
Congratulations, pero it looks like labanan ng mga Giants to, Lasal and let's see, UE or tingnan natin ang labanan. Pero kasi this is supposed to be Kevin Kiambao's last year.
Last year, no, sa kanyang
his final song, his final curtain daw. So sabi niya, it will be beautiful daw sana because yun ang purpose kung ba't siya bumalik.
Right.
He wanted to win one more.
Ito still in sports. Veteran point guard L.A. Tenorio is the new head coach of Gilas Pilipinas Youth. The 8-time PBA champion takes over the program, succeeding former mentor Josh Reyes. The Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas says Tenorio stood out among other candidates for the position. The group is confident that the new head coach will be an inspiration and a role model for Gilas Youth.
No, I think it's his character in and out the basketball court. Even him personally, I mean, his personal battles with his cancer, as you know, it's a great story that people will be inspired and will learn a lot from how LA went through his entire journey.
Aba, oo nga,
Yeah, cancer, survivor. And of course, we all know he was one of the best point guards in his day. Oo, madami siyang team.
Legendary yan eh.
Madami siyang team ang pinaglaruan. Ako, huwag mo tatawagin daw legendary. Kasi still playing. So yung mga active players, ayaw nilang matawagan daw ng legend dahil feeling nila matanda na sila. Mga patrimonyo ng mga legend na yun, yung mga may gout, may high blood, hypertension.
Ganun ba? Pero congratulations kay L.A. Tenorian. We are looking forward dun sa gagawin niya para sa Gilas Youth, no? And hopefully, sa time na sila ay magko-compete, maka-place yung ating Gilas Youth.
Gilas Youth. Of course, yung youth natin, if they all do well, sila ang mag-move up. Hopefully, will form the farm team for the Gilas men's basketball kasi medyo may edad na ang men's team natin ngayon. Most of them will graduate na. Mga konti na lang matitira dyan. Like siguro sila Soto, yan, bata pa yan.
Sila Dwight Ramos.
Dwight Ramos, mga bata pa yan. But of course, sila Fajardo and sila Japet Aguilar, di ba? They're moving, eventually they'll retire from the program. Okay, let's move on to the next. Settling at the 8th spot is about Cagayan. Students and teachers are seeking to go back to school after losing classes due to the storms that battered their province. According to the Education Department, Cagayan schools lost 35 learning days due to class suspensions. Over 251,000 of students were affected by the loss of class days. Selected schools in Cagayan are planning to conduct Saturday classes until January 2025 to make up for the class suspensions.
Kaya win-win na rin ang sitwasyon doon dahil at least matulungan ng mga bata, makatulong ang mga teachers, and at the same time, ang DepEd naman ay tinutulungan sila in terms of the resources.
Yan ang sinasabi na sana may backup already. Let's take a look at talaga normalizing the use of maybe asynchronous and online classes. Kasi 35 days, kahit no matter how much na habulin mo yan by putting up Saturday classes, you're forcing the student to acceleratedly take in more lessons, which is not
information,
which is not conducive.
Information overload, ika nga.
It's not
Pero
conducive.
at this point in time, wala naman
Kailangan
silang
talaga humabol.
ibang pupuntahan kundi talaga mag-makeup ng classes through Saturday classes Pero
Yes, oo.
yun nga, habang ginagawa nila yun, kasi ang importante din, makita din yung sa mga schools. Kasi not only in Cagayan, maraming mga typhoon-stricken areas ngayon, yung pati yung school sira. So, paano papasok yung mga estudyante natin if yung ibang schools nila sira and yung iba, may mga pa rin evacuees na naka-stay doon.
That's why sa mga pinag-uusapan, di ba, yung mga areas of concern, sana may dedicated already evacuation centers para students don't have to suffer every time may bagyo na nagagamit ang area or space nila, di ba? I mean, it doesn't need to be right in the center of the area na baka maapektuhan ng bagyo din or whatever calamity may happen, pero at least within the vicinity of their area na malapit-lapit sa homes na safe.
Totoo.
Oo.
So parang the whole year pinag-uusapan natin paano makabawi mga estudyante dito sa mga nangyayaring mga suspension of classes. First, earlier in the year, di ba, pinag-uusapan natin, sobrang init naman. Di ba? Kasi kulang sa ventilation yung mga classroom, walang enough water supply, nahihilo, pati yung mga teachers. Tapos ngayon naman na tag-ulan, ang problema naman yung baha, landslide.
Pero hindi na, alam mo, hindi na matagal to...
Hindi na bago.
Hindi na bago to sa atin. It's because it's been happening for the last few decades already. Until now, we haven't learned yet how to adjust to issues like this. And yet, may climate change na.
Totoo.
How do we expect to adjust to climate change if we can't even adjust to regular climate occurrences?
Totoo. And ngayon din also, pinag-uusapan pa rin, dapat repasuhin, i-review yung mga guidelines when it comes to suspension of classes. So, ayun na naman.
Until now, we still, hindi pa natin ma-interpret ang guidelines.
That stemmed out kasi nung nangyari dun sa, yung recent typhoon, yung recent bagyo si Pepito, na nag-declare yung pag-asa daw ng signal number 2 dito sa Metro Manila, pero it didn't rain naman.
At least good, safe yung mga bata. If it didn't rain, hindi mo alam kung lumihis ang bagyo ng konti, may dalang hangin. Diba? So let's just go by, yung whatever is there yet.
Air to the, safe.
Or err on the side of safety.
Side of safety. Okay, sige. Coming up, Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla aims to reduce the number of police generals to 100. Why so?
And what does Vice President Sara Duterte have to say about the mysterious identity of Mary Grace Piatos?
May bago pa, meron pang Kokoy Villamin. Sabi nga nila, move over, Mary Gay Piatos. Sino naman to si Kokoy Villamin? Mamaya pag-usapan natin yan. Nanood ba kayo ng hearing yesterday? Anong comment niyo doon? Diba? We are just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Bati ka muna, Diego. dun sa
Alright,
mga
si Ralph
usual
Domingo,
suspects natin.
si Ralph Domingo said natatakam daw siya sa BOTD, Brunch of the Day. Oh, that's nice. I like that,
Brunch
BOTD.
of the Day.
Brunch of the Day nyo. Of course, naubos na yung akin. Good morning daw, sabi ni Sam Pokemon Go. Congrats daw kay Mamu Hingin daw natin siya ng turon. Next year daw, brunch.
Oo.
Oo.
Okay.
Good morning kay Joseph Lee at kay Thea
Doc
Vito.
Joseph.
Gary Field, good morning and happy Thursday.
Si Mina Benales ng ating Jesse Mendez family ay good morning din sa iyo. Si Merlinda, Ronald Maxtay. Ito mo mga nanonood sa atin
Jerry
sa
Yang
YouTube.
pala of C9 family. Hello,
Of
good
course.
morning. Oo.
Si Merlinda, Ronald Maxtay, Leonie Valdesoto, si Gina Villa, si Summer Cabrera, si Elmo Cardenas, si Oscar, si Gary Co, si sino pa ba? Geraldine Balolong, yan,
Yes,
yung mga
oo.
usual natin viewers dyan sa YouTube. Si Tita Daisy, Tito Nito, and Tito Naldi Cancio nanonood din sa atin.
Yun, good
DJ,
morning sa inyo lahat.
diba? O, sa
Hello,
ating
hello.
guys, good morning. Okay, sige, let's continue with our countdown. Going straight now to our top 7, the health department sounded the alarm over the rising number of pregnancies among minors. According to the agency, 59 out of every 100,000 children aged 15 and below are getting pregnant. DOJ Secretary Ted Herbosa explained that these are considered childhood pregnancy. He attributes the spike to several factors, including lack of education and overexposure to social media.
Yung internet has a big influence on sexual behavior of our teens. And then there's peer pressure. Ang gusto ng iba makapag-asawa, makatakas sa poverty ng kanilang family. We have a very high incidence. Dapat yan 0. 15 is a child.
So that was DOH, no, Department of Health Secretary Ted Herbosa.
Alam mo, tama si Secretary Herbosa, they're normalizing sex on social media masyado. Instead of it becoming a sacred act that's supposed to be consumed by people who are married, it's becoming daw, a US lawmaker said, it seems like it's going to the direction of being a sport. That anybody can engage in it at any time, di ba? So it's a normal act already.
Nakita kasi sa social media yung
Yeah,
access
nakikita.
ng mga sa mga adult films. And also yung nakikita nila na rin na problema dyan is yung maternal mortality.
Not only that, but
because, wait lang, kasi yung
sorry.
mga estudyante, yung mga batang na nabubuntis, hindi naman sila kaagad nagsasabi na buntis sila. Tapos, or kadalasan, hindi naman sila nakakapagpa-check up.
Aside from tinatago
Hindi
nila,
sila naka-prenatal
most of them don't know until the 4th month na buntis na sila.
Yes.
So madaming factors din yan.
Oo. Kaya nga, they're urging also, kanina pinag-uusapan din namin yan, they're urging also the parents na i-guide yung mga anak nila, especially dito sa ganitong bagay, no? Especially also yung mga lalaki, 'di ba? Kasi importante din na alam nila na yung itong education, pati yung pagbibigay daw ng tawag dito yung mga sa schools, yung mga birth control pills sa pinag-uusapan nila na dapat daw mas mapaigting, especially sa mga rural areas.
But before you do that kasi, at a young age, you should be teaching the children yung mga pros and cons and
Yes.
what happens. Instead of giving outright pills, kasi you're stimulating them to engage in the act because may pills ka naman but it's not everyday naman may access sa mga ito sa pills.
Yes.
What if naubos ang pills nila pero nasimulan nila yung sexual act, tuloy-tuloy sila. You have to educate them about the pros and cons at an early
That's
age.
why I said, di ba, yung mga parents educate nila yung mga anak nila.
Oh, let's not normalize the act, di ba? At the end of the day, we'll teach them what's right, what's wrong, teach them the value of an education, the value of finishing your studies first, and then engaging in your life later on.
Yes, at saka isa pa sa mga nakikita na rin nila factors, yung socio-economic class na some of these teenagers or gusto nila mag-asawa na lang kami kasi para makaalis kami sa hirap ng buhay namin dito sa bahay. Pero not knowing na yung bigger responsibilities naman nakakaharapin nila when they get pregnant at that age.
Saka lastly, sinasabi nila, kasi sa ibang bansa, normal lang yan. That's another country. This is not our culture. Hindi tayo ganun. Just because ginagawa ng iba, hindi ibig sabihin po gagayahin na natin.
It applies to us.
It doesn't apply to us.
Oo.
Alright, let's move on to the next. Sitting at the 6th spot in the U.S. elections, the Filipino head of a nonprofit organization said the pro-Trump Filipino community in the U.S. were, quote, unquote, gaslighted. This after President Bongbong Marcos told us President-elect Trump that a lot of Filipinos voted for him in the recent elections against Vice President Kamala Harris. In an interview with a Big Story, Bobby Ticson of the Global Transparency and Transformation Advocates Network lamented how Filipinos only base their vote on the issue of abortion. He said that Trump 2.0 will harm the Filipino community in the U.S.
A lot of our kababayans have been gaslighted, They've been blindsided. And they have contributed to the victory of Trump. Now, of course, it's not only Asians and Filipinos, even Latinos, even African Americans voted for him. I really don't know. Even now, it's been 2 weeks, and I'm going back tomorrow, as I said. It's like a nightmare.
I
I'd
think
like
he
to-
said also, he mentioned na parang ang nangyari daw kasing sinasabi, Trump or the Republicans are pro or anti-abortion and Democrats are pro-abortion. In a way, sabi niya, mali yun because Democrats daw are not pro-abortion but they're pro-choice.
That's the same. That's one and the same. I'd like to think naman kasi sinasabi ng a lot of people are saying, even the anti-Trump side are saying na let's move on and already stop pointing to who voted for who. Kasi ang nangyayari dito, like for example, they're saying that a lot of Filipinos were gaslighted. I'd like to think naman na a lot of those, regardless of who they voted for, Trump or Harris, are smart voters and will not be easily gaslighted by info.
Yeah.
Madaming kababayan na nakakausap natin, Republican or Democrat, are saying na pinag-aaralan nila mabuti. And for some people, we have to respect their choices if the premise of their vote or giving it to the Republican is, let's say, okay, hindi sila anti-abortion but less pro-choice in a sense, then that's their choice. Diba? We stop saying that they were lied to at nagpaloko sila. Hindi po, matatalino po ang Pilipino. I'd like to think that. Regardless of you, who
Tsaka
you
ilang
voted for.
porsyento lang naman yung voting population ng Filipino when it comes dun sa...
Actually, even look at the Mexicans and yung Latinos, a lot of them shifted to, so what? They were gaslighted also.
Marami kasing mga ano pa rin, syempre conservative na mga, like us, mga Filipinos na conservative.
Yeah, I'd like to say, matalino naman ang Pinoy. So, kung yan ang gusto nila because of that issue lang, that's their choice. Other people have other issue, then choice nila yun.
Sa Amerika kasi talagang it's not so much the personality, yung preference nila sa boto nila, but
True.
the platform of
It's
each
a platform.
party. Diba? Liberal ka, Democrats ka. Kapag conservative ka,
sabi nga nila,
Republicans. Just so happen kasi na si Trump siya yung sa Republican.
Sabi nga nila, if you remove Trump from the Republican platform, baka matalo pa siya. Because personality-wise, he's not marketable as a good leader.
Yeah, because
But
ang
the
dami niya
platform,
misogynistic, diba?
the platform of the Republicans kasi, yun ang umibabaw dito. Diba? A lot of people are not only abortion issues but yung immigration issues, food, security.
At saka diba they're also asking kasi before the US election, they're also saying na this is going to be a tight race in the history of US elections, pero iba yung lumabas, malayo, diba? So sabi nila, ilang factors lang yan eh. Number one would be mali yung survey or hindi na talaga dapat pagkatiwalaan yung mga survey. Number two would be nahihiya lang daw yung iba na magsabi na Republican sila pag nai-interview. Pero it translated dun sa kanilang sa votes.
We talked about that with Richard Heydarian, di ba? There are some Trump voters nung tinanong, who are you voting for? Harris. Pero pagdating daw sa polls, pag nagkwentuhan na sila, Trump talaga ang binoto nila.
Or minsan yung exit interview, di ba, after bumoto, iba yung sinasabi nila kasi nakikita yung face nila.
Pero actually,
but it's there, ayan na yung result.
They might say it's a resounding sweep. Oo, in terms of electoral college votes. But if you take a look the state-by-state voting, each of the swing states was won by 1 to 2%. So technically, dikit. Every state was won by 2%, 1%. Nagkataon lang that the Republican side got most of the states. But you could call it in a sense, kung state-by-state voting, you could call it in a sense, it was tight. But overall, if you look at, you see, that's the beauty of the Electoral College. Tight race siya per state, pero overall, it looks like that he has a large mandate.
Plus, popularity vote, lamang pa rin si Trump.
Lamang si Trump.
Compared nung the last time that he ran versus Hillary Clinton, si Hillary yung mas mataas yung popularity vote niya eh, 'di ba?
That's why they're calling it a sweep. It's because you garnered a high number of electoral votes. You have the Supreme Court because may appointee ka na 5 Supreme Court justices. You have Congress and you have the Senate. So he has all the branches of government needed to ensure na hindi na maulit yung nangyari ng Trump 1.0. The Trump 2.0 yung mandate niya yung 1.0, yung first time around, matutuloy this time.
Tignan natin. But sige, let's continue with our countdown. Moving over now to our top 5, Las Piñas City Councilor Mark Anthony Santos says he has no personal issues against Senator Cynthia Villar. In an interview with The Big Story, Santos attributed Villar's apparent anger towards him to his expose on the alleged tax delinquencies of the Villar family. In a viral video, Villar was seen approaching Santos inside a church, briefly having an interaction with him, then leaving. Though the video had no clear audio, Santos later said she cussed him, but the senator has since denied this.
Siguro, it just so happened when I filed my certificate of candidacy, I questioned her moral authority to lead the city because of the issue dun sa taxes.
So actually, at this happened pala October
Tagal-tagal na.
October
A few weeks
13.
ago.
October 13. This was correct me if I'm wrong based sa The Big Story na panood na. This was the first Sunday after the filing of the certificates of candidacy. And ang nangyari daw is si councilor went to Senator Villar to shake hands. Tapos parang sinabi ni Senator, wag mo na i-shake hands ko. Then pinuntahan pa ni Senator Villar to attack him, to trigger siya. We all know naman si Senator Villar has a temper. I mean, madaming video naglabas, yung sa kalye, inaaway niya security guards, di ba? Madaming nagsasabi, kailangan na daw niya mag-anger management classes. But we don't know kasi anong real context of the fight. Pero sana lang, for both
kasi
parties,
sa harapan ng altar yun.
wag naman sa simbahan mag-away. Kung may galit kayo, kaya nga may peace be with you.
Kalangin na lang natin. Dapat ang simbahan, neutral ground yan.
No,
diba?
even,
Pag nandiyan kayo, kalimutan muna or isang tabi muna yung mga
Hindi muna,
issues
isang tabi nyo na.
Oo.
Kaya,
Hindi kasi pag nasa simbahan, sinasabi ko, kung hindi talaga nila kayang pigilan, basta nasa simbahan, isang tabi muna.
But
That's what I meant.
the mere fact na they are Catholics and they're there at may peace be with you, that means you're trying to emulate the life of Jesus Christ. When Jesus was nailed to the cross, He forgave all those who nailed Him to the cross. Hindi naman isinintabi lang ni Jesus yun eh. Nasa pagkapako ko, galit na ako sa inyo Hindi. Pag-usapan nyo yan, wag naman sa simbahan.
So, a lot of people are asking, bakit ba galit na galit si Senator
yung tax.
Villar? Diba? Yung tax delinquencies issues. And of course, sinasabi din kasi dito ni Santos, ni Councilor Mark Anthony Santos na sabi niya, ang Las Piñas is not a Villar City. Sabi niya. Kasi may mga kino-question niya yung pag-construct ng bridge na nagko-connect doon sa personal business nila Senator Villar and the family.
They've been accused of that a lot of times.
Yes, and this bridge, parang dalawa yung bridge na to. These two bridges na to ay supposedly was or allegedly was constructed during when Senator Mark Villar was the Secretary of DPWH.
Saka nagka-issue sila about yung reclamation projects in the area na supposedly Senator Villar was against it and si councilor was for it. Parang ang sinabi ni councilor na sinabi niya pinanigan sila ng korte with regards to the reclamation project na gusto matuloy.
Yes, and on the other side of the fence, sa issue pa rin ng bridge na itutuloy ko lang, sinasabi naman nila Senator Cynthia Villar, sila naman yung gumastos nun. Hindi naman kami naningil sa gobyerno, pera namin yung parang nagkakawang gawa lang sila na i-connect yung bridge na yon, pwede namang gamitin ng ibang tao, pero yun nga, private property nila. So ang nilalaban doon ni pwede ba yun? Di ba illegal yun? May mga puno doon na tinanggal kayo. Ang sinabi naman ng mga Villars, bakit nagpalit naman kami? Nag-donate pa nga kami ng mga puno, tapos pinalitan namin yung mga puno na nawala in construction.
Saka you're connecting public roads. Kahit sabihin mo the bridge falls under private property, but you're connecting public roads to and from each other. When you do that, you have to coordinate with the public works and you have to have the right permits with the LGUs.
Yes, kaya sabi, legal ba yun? Yan sinasabi.
Di ba nga sa Quezon City may mga high-end developers na when they built the subdivision, it cut through Katipunan, and then it cut through Marikina, and then it cut through Commonwealth.
Yes.
But when they built that, there was an agreement that if you build a subdivision, which we allowed you to build, we will build together a road later on that will cut through Commonwealth to Katipunan extension, which happened. Kasi may coordination. You just don't build without coordinating. Yun ang contention po ng kabila.
Oo.
Sinasabi.
Kasi
Dapat
sinabi
man
nila,
lang,
may mga permit naman daw kasi nga, when it was being constructed, ang nasa DPWH, ang secretary, si Mark Villar.
well, wala naman akong sinasabi na may nagmanipulate.
Oo, wala naman. Yun yung ito yung kinukwento
Contention ng
natin ay
kabila.
galing kay Councilor Anthony Santos. Pero siya lang, if I'm not mistaken, siya lang ang lumalaban against Villar. Para sila magkandidato.
Kataon pa na,
Congress.
ba't ngayon
kasi
lang niya kasi
matatapos na yung term ni Senator Villar.
Ba't ngayon
sa
lang kasi
Senate.
release to publicly? Kung
ngayon
matagal
sila
ng issue.
kandidato.
Ngayon, yun nga ang point.
O, magbati na kayo kasi nasa simbahan.
Hinahawakan nyo ang hinaing nyo sa kapwa-tao hanggat nagkaroon ng eleksyon. And then pag kailan mo gusto ipakawala, when it suits you, then you release it.
Oh, that I don't
If you really
know,
cared, no, I'm just saying if
kasi
you...
baka mamaya may mga reports pala hindi lang natin
We
alam.
don't know. Ay, pwede, oo, pwede lang. Basta, let's see, away pamilya to. Sana nag-peace be with you na lang kayo sa church para no more away. Just
Basta
let it...
dinideny yun ni Senator Cynthia Villar, di daw niya ito.
Oo, idaan nyo na lang sa electoral process that the people decide. O, di ba? Yun na lang yan.
Okay, sige, let's continue with our countdown.
Coming in hot at the fourth spot is the Philippine National Police. Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla aims to reduce the number of police generals to 100. PNP currently has 153 generals, but Remulla noted that 20 of them have no direct command. The Interior Secretary previously wanted to decrease the number of police generals to 25. However, he admitted that his initial goal was not realistic. Remulla clarified that his plans do not include removing any incumbent generals. Former police chief and now Senator Bato de la Rosa asked Remulla to not drastically implement his plans for the PNP.
Ang kailangan gawin ay pag-aralan kung deserving pa talaga o kailangan ba talaga ng star rank nung position na yon or pwede lang colonel or other positions.
While we are going to, sana hindi ganun ka drastic yung gawin nating changes diyan sa organization, yung pagtanggal ng mga general dahil i-take into consideration rin natin yung moral and welfare ng mga officers na andyan dahil yan, pag-graduate ng PNPA, kung na ambisyon na nila yan, na dito ako ma-assign, kailangan dyan ako mag-general.
Actually, binasa ko yung plan, yung plan ni Secretary Remulla. And ang nakaspecify kasi sa plan is yung mga walang direct command over officers or on the field.
Yes.
Ngayon, there are generals kasi...
Walang direct command and redundant
Oo.
for him.
For example, there are generals kasi in HR or yung mga administrative functions sa PNP na sinasabi ni Secretary Remulla, pwede naman siguro, he didn't specifically say this, but ang parang people with no direct command over police operations or that is critical, wag na gawin general. Baka naman, like for example, ang take ko is a colonel can run administrative duties within the PNP, like for HR, employee relations, procurement. Baka naman kailangan hindi general yan. Pwedeng an expert on the matter, tapos bigyan mo ng rank of colonel kasi naman ang
Yes.
ginagawa. Kasi you have to remember po, ang sweldo ng general, if you ask, tinatanong kababayan natin, bakit kailangan ng ganitong move, ang general po, pag umabot ka sa rank na yun, may mga benefits at sweldo na kaakibat yan. So tumataas ang cost tsaka
Yes.
expenses.
Pati yung retirement.
And when they retire, yung pension
Full
nila,
benefit package.
yung pension nila is based on anong rank nila when they retired.
Ilan yung star nila, di ba yung ganun.
Unless, sabi ni Secretary Mull, deserve nila.
Oo.
Pag deserve nila, ibigay nyo.
Kasi alam ko, I remember this, diba? The moment na naupo o na-appoint itong si DILG Secretary Remulla, isa yan sa mga tinanong sa kanya, anong gagawin niya. Tapos iyan yung isa sa mga sinabi niya. Ngayon, nabanggit niya during the confirmation niya sa Commission on Appointment sa Senate yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So, yun nga, kasi sinasabi niya, sa civil service daw, traditionally or based on the guidelines, every 3 years na po-promote.
Yes.
So, gusto niyang gawin, kung po pwede i-revisit yung law na yun, gawing 5 years para medyo may slow down yung promotion ng PNP.
Tsaka daw, parang merit-based ang actual promotion. Kasi may mga instances na some promotions are given directly by superior officers. But this time, when you're promoted, sinasabi niya, kailangan yung choice ng superior officers, kailangan may pinanggagalingan na merit na pwedeng ipakita, i-present para ma-defend daw kung karapat-dapat na maging colonel, general.
Buti nga medyo tinaasan niya kasi 'di ba of 155, parang sabi niya 25 na lang itira. Eh syempre may mga consultations pa dun sa kanilang, yung promotional board ng PNP, yan isa sa mga kinausap niya. Tapos tinanong nga kasi kung baka naman daw ma-demoralize yung mga pulis kung gagawin niya yan. Kasi syempre yung iba yan ang goal nila, di ba, maka-reach ng star, maging general, at makakuha ng package nila, retirement package kapag yun nga nag-retire na sila. Sinabi niya, naku, they are soldiers, they follow orders.
I don't think, lastly, no, I don't think demoralize sila. In fact, it will promote healthy competition among them because binawasan mo yung number of people who can be generals. Number two, you're pushing for a merit-based promotion system. So talagang, magpupursige ka to do your best because kukonti na lang ang pwedeng ma-promote. May merit-based, may pag-asa. Di ba? Kasi before, malaki ang discretion ng superior to choose. So, ikaw, you're a low-ranked officer, wala na. Hindi ako favorite. Ito, may chance ka.
Tignan natin kung talagang
matutuloy,
malilinis at masistreamline yan ni DILG Secretary dahil ito ay naging tradisyon na dyan di ba, sa PNP. Alright, let's continue with our countdown.
The camp of Mary Jane Veloso is appealing to the government to grant the convicted OFW of immediate clemency. Now, here's the report.
Mary Jane Veloso, the Filipina who's been on death row for 14 years in Indonesia, is finally coming home. That was confirmed by President Bongbong Marcos himself, although there's no confirmed date yet for her return. This was a product of over a decade of diplomacy and consultations with the government of Indonesia with the goal of delaying her execution long enough to reach an agreement. Marcos says that while Veloso was held accountable under Indonesian law, she remains a victim of her circumstances. The Foreign Affairs Department also said Indonesia did not ask for anything in exchange for Veloso.
They have not asked for quid pro quo or anything, prisoner exchange, nothing po. Remember, they've always been gracious to us, but of course, in the future, if they may, then certainly the Philippines will remember this gesture on the part of Indonesia.
However, it does not mean Veloso will be freed upon her return to the Philippines. According to the Justice Department, she needs to continue her prison term here. She will also be brought to either the New Bilibid prison or the Correctional Institute for Women.
The legal custody would be Indonesia's because we are asked to respect their laws and jurisprudence, but the physical custody will be with the Philippines.
But the next meeting between the Philippines and Indonesia will discuss the possible granting of clemency for Mary Jane. This is also the appeal of her legal team and family to the government.
Pinakamaganda yan, bago pa ilipad si Mary Jane, magdeklara na kagad si Presidente Marcos Jr. ng clemencia. No? Kaya hindi na siya kailangan na ituloy sa anumang piitan.
Mami naman na yun talaga, may-ari talagang siya, biktima lang. Siguro naman po, tama naman na po yung maglalabing 5 taon din siya sa kulungan na naghihirap at napakatanda doon.
Alright, sige, in connection to that, we will be interviewing via phone ang lawyer ni Mary Jane Veloso, si Attorney Olalia. Good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. Is this Angela and Angelo?
Yes, correct, Attorney. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, sorry. I'm driving, so I might be cut off anytime, if you don't mind.
Okay, alright. Sige, kamustahin lang po natin ano po ba yung mga iba pang mga development yung pwede nyo pong ma-update sa amin. Kasi nga po nabalitaan namin yesterday na yung possibility na makakauwi na po ito si Mary Jane Veloso sa ating bansa.
Well, sa katunayan lang, as a matter of fact, what you probably know is also what we know. Because we only based on what are being given in public statements by both the... Kasi bang Filipino o English? Or
sige po,
any attorney.
Po.
Okay. Yung ministro kasi ng Indonesia, nagbigay na ng pahayag, no?
Yes.
A week ago. And then this was confirmed by our Foreign Affairs Department 2 days ago, and then yesterday by President Marcos Jr. And then I've been monitoring the news reports, including the one in Indonesia. And the last I saw was the video interview or message of the Chief Minister of Indonesia spelling out some specifics, no? But still in broad strokes pa rin, sketch pa rin.
Yes.
So, but as to the particular date, the process, the where, the when, and the how, they're still on the table, as I
Okay.
understand.
Attorney, given yung mga information na meron tayo ngayon, I'd like to ask you lang about yung statement ng DOJ na sinasabi the physical custody will just merely be with the Philippines, but po yung in the aspect of respecting the law, it will still be under the custody of Indonesian courts. Ang tanong ko po kasi is, can the President grant immediate clemency given na ang statement is only physical custody lang ang nasa atin?
Kaya nga, very unique and novel yung situation tsaka yung proposed arrangement. Ano? It's true that the legal and judicial jurisdiction
Yes.
remains with Indonesia because she was convicted. We won't even go into the merits, because
Yes.
it's already
Yes.
a matter of fact, sentence. She was convicted by an Indonesian court,
Yes.
affirmed by the Supreme Court, in a crime alleged to have been committed in Indonesia. All right?
Yes.
So the jurisdiction as far as the case is concerned on the drug trafficking remains in Indonesia. It's not our law that was applied.
Yes.
So but because of this novel, unique proposal and possibility of a transfer of prisoner or custody, it is a political diplomatic approach. Correct? In which, kaya nga unique kasi how could you serve a sentence imposed by another country in your own country?
That's right.
The laws applied are in another country. Kaya unique.
That's right. That's
Pero,
right.
mismo dun sa statement ng Chief Minister nila to be validated, I understand, by the President of Indonesia and the Supreme Court and their Attorney General. They are passing on the responsibility for the rehabilitation, including the remission or clemency to the Philippine authorities.
Okay.
So unique, di ba?
Yes.
Unique na.
Yes.
So,
So,
may
yeah.
power. May power si President Marcos Jr. to
Okay.
exercise
The
that prerogative.
Okay, the reason why we asked this, Attorney Edry, kasi madami nagsasabi na baka naman pag pinasa yung physical custody sa atin at anytime na biglang sabihin ng Indonesian court, ibalik nyo dito, may execution date, yun ang kinakabahan po yung marami. Yung pala, there's a possibility na, we'll give you physical custody but we'll also give you the actual rehabilitation. Buti lininaw nyo po yun. So, moving forward po, what can we expect? Do we expect a clemency? Ano pong approaches to free Mary Jane?
Well, everything is on the table as far as we're concerned. But as far as we're concerned, we're pushing for an absolute pardon or a full clemency that we want state prison any longer. But the realm of possibilities, yung range ng possibilities, malawak. No? Could be absolute pardon, conditional pardon, commutation, life sentence, good conduct time allowance, whatever it is, no? Clemency. But I don't want to jump the gun. I have been very clear about that.
Okay.
Don't want to jump the gun, so to speak. We don't want to preempt the specifics of the arrangement. Let them do their jobs. Our government agencies do their jobs. Let them do the attitude. But we will be watching. And then, as far as we're concerned, we have been consistent in our call and clamor. Bigyan na siya ng clemency. In fact, nagbigay na ako ng range of possibilities from the ideal to the worst scenario. But, ayun natin pangunahan Ang
Pero,
Angela,
yes,
if I may just continue very quickly. What is lost in all this thing of discussion, of the details, the how, is the fact that essentially and ultimately, she has been saved from the gallows.
Yun. Oo. So parang kung ano pong mangyari, kahit ano pong mangyari pag uwi niya dito, salba na siya sa death penalty.
Kaya nga. Oo, kasi pumayag na ang Indonesia in principle. Detalye na lang na ilipat So, ilipat ba yan? That's kind of odd, no? Ilipat mo na bakit ibabalik mo pa po ang institution? It is strange. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Attorney, taking this opportunity to ask you na rin doon po sa magiging epekto naman nito doon sa kanyang kaso, yung kaso dito po ng kanyang mga illegal recruiters na dinidinig po sa Nueva Ecija Regional Trial Court.
Legally, there is no direct connection, no, in so far as whatever the decision of the RTC Nueva Ecija would be. No,
Right.
I don't want to preempt that as well. I'm a lawyer. No,
Yes.
I'm representing one party. But whatever it will be, there is no direct election. But if and when, no, I don't want to prejudge. But if and when, even if because we are the lawyer for one party, even if we believe that she is a victim, but if and when the judge says that yes, she is a victim of human trafficking, then there is an additional moral compulsion to grant her clemency. But that is not to say, if I may just quickly add, that is not to say that the grant of clemency, are you still reading?
Yes, po. Go ahead.
That is not to say that the grant of clemency in whatever form by Mr. Marcos is dependent on the result of legally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Siyempre, pag nalaman ng Presidente, talaga naman palang ganun nangyari. Although, pansinin ko, even our Foreign Affairs Department, and that is a very good sign for us, no? At categorically characterize her as a victim. Did you notice that?
Yes, yes.
But for the longest time, the previous administration had not said so. But this time around, they are saying she is a victim of her. Even the president himself says she is a
Yes.
victim of circumstance. Right? So, everything, all these factors, may parang ground, si mother, mahirap, pagsubok, habak, nagsamantalahan, will militate to contribute to the decisive prerogative na bigyan na ng clemency. At pagtulong-tulungan tayo kasi it's not all about Mary Jane.
Yes.
It's not all about Mary Jane. It's all about other Mary Janes that before and other Mary Janes. Hopefully not. That will happen in the future.
Okay, marami pa kami gustong itanong sa iyo, attorney, pero unfortunately, wala na po tayong oras. Pero hopefully, we can still invite you again para po sa mas mahabang kwentuhan. For the meantime, thank you so much. Apo, thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Attorney Edre Olalia, ang lawyer ni Mary Jane Veloso.
Actually, we wanted to ask also sana yung if ever hindi ka agad mabibigay yung clemency at nasa jurisdiction natin and we detain her muna sa correctional, paano yung security? Ano niya?
Kasi diba sabi ng parents niya medyo nag-aalala sila, they're worried about
Kasi we
her
all
security
know-
because international syndicate
International
allegedly,
syndicate ang nagbigay kay Mary Jane ng drugs and she transported this at kinakabahan siguro daw yung sindikato na ito because baka may kinanta na si Mary Jane, especially when she testifies, if she will testify here.
Ito, pag-uwi niya.
Pero meron na kasi siyang testimony nakasulat on the record.
Pero yun nga sinasabi ko kasi ongoing yung kaso naman doon sa Regional Trial Court sa Nueva Ecija. Pero hindi siya connected dito sa clemency. Yung pagpapauwi
kasi sa
kanya,
Indonesia
yung
naman yan.
transfer. Iba naman yun.
yun.
Alright, sige.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. May dalawa pa. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Let's move on.
President Bongbong Marcos leads the groundbreaking ceremony of the Meralco Terra Solar Project in Nueva Ecija. The project will provide clean energy to millions of households and generate thousands of employment opportunities. It will also enhance the stability and reliability of the Luzon grid while significantly reducing carbon emissions. Both Marcos and Meralco Chairman and CEO Manny V. Pangilinan are optimistic towards a greener Philippines.
We take a leap towards the future, driven by innovation and sustained by our collective hope for a cleaner and greener Philippines. We stand together at the site of what will become the largest integrated solar and battery storage facility in the world.
We will deliver 4,500 megawatt hours of clean energy, enough to power 2.4 million homes and eliminate 3.6 million tons of carbon emissions annually.
All right, let's move on. The House Quad Committee may invite former President Duterte again to attend a hearing. Congressman Ace Barbers told Storycon that they may ask for Duterte's attendance in EJK hearing. But for now, Barbers said they will finish first their ongoing investigation on POGO and illegal drugs.
Some of the members are actually wanting to see him again kasi hindi pa sila nakapagtanong. We will have to ask them again kung sino pa yung gusto magtanong at ano yung tatanong para maging basis namin if iimbitahan pa namin siya ulit.
Our top story for today is about the office of the Vice President. Vice President Sara Duterte refused to comment about the controversial Mary Grace Piatos. Meanwhile, her chief of staff finally appeared at the House hearing on their office's confidential fund expenses yesterday. But did the lawmakers learn anything new from her? Here's the report.
After skipping the previous House hearings, Office of the Vice President Chief of Staff Attorney Zuleika Lopez finally showed up to the lawmakers. She refuted claims that she was hiding from authorities when she flew to the U.S. Lopez said she was there to take care of her relative. Lawmakers raised questions about her office's spending of confidential funds. However, Lopez claimed she has no knowledge of how Vice President Sara Duterte used the funds. She said that she is only handling the operational concerns of the OVP. Meanwhile, VP Sara refused to comment on the controversial Mary Grace Piatos. She claimed she has not seen the documents with Piatos' signature.
I have no comment on that, no, because I've not seen the acknowledgement receipt na kanilang sinasabi because basically lahat ng mga documents hindi siya dumadaan sa akin, dumidiretso siya sa SDO and sinasubmit siya sa ICFAO. Yung office ng COA na gumagawa ng audit ng confidential funds. So hindi ako makakomment.
Lawmakers are still debating whether or not the personality seemingly named after a cafe and a snack is real. During the House hearing, they also discovered another interesting name. A certain Kokoy Villamin signed acknowledgement receipts for both the OVP and the Education Department. Lawmakers raised their eyebrow on Villamin's signatures because they were written in obviously different strokes.
It begs us the question, gaano kalala yung pag-aabuso dito sa office confidential funds? I think we have just started unearthing all of these problems and all of the questionable acknowledgement receipts. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, Mr. Chair. If we go deeper into this, mukhang widespread po ang nangyaring pag-aabuso sa pondo po ng ating gobyerno.
VP Sara said she will let the people decide if she has to attend the next House hearing.
Case-to-case basis kung depende kung kinsay dunay madawat na invitation, depende po sa desisyon sa tao.
Meanwhile, her staff Lemuel Ortonio was cited in contempt again for not showing up to the hearing. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
We were trying to call
Congressman Adjong.
Congressman
we're having
Alonto
difficulty
Adjong. Kaya lang
Anyway, a lot of people kasi find it difficult to fathom or to understand such a big budget and you're the head of the agency or the department, you're not
Hindi dumadaan sa'yo.
hindi dadaan sa'yo, or at the very least hindi mo inalam asan na yung pera na yon, di ba? Parang hindi ko pa nakikita. Usually kahit wala pang hearing yan o wala pang nag-iimbestiga sa'yo, teka lang, laking amount nito, let's trace,
this is for confidence.
let's track it where it is, di ba? Number 2, yung sinasabi nilang this was withdrawn from Land Bank in duffel bags in tranches of 125 million, which amounts to 500 million. Usually, ang funding like that, dinadaan mo either to wire transfer or you use it to managers' checks or checks para may paper trail. Pero ito, cash inside duffel bags, carry to the OVP.
Exactly.
Bakit cash? Kasi ang cash po, walang trail.
Walang paper trail.
You only rely on acknowledgement receipts. So,
Kaya nga
hindi po galing sa akin yan, ha? That's from findings sa committee.
Tsaka kasi, di ba, we're talking about confidential funds here. Now, I understand if we're talking about different line items sa mga budget ng departamento, OVP or Department of Education. Pero confidential funds, di ba dapat dumadaan yan sa head mismo talaga? Ng, let's say, for example, ito nga ng Department of Education. Kasi they're talking about two acknowledgement receipts diba? Ng OVP at saka Department of Pero ang sinasabi kasi ni Vice President Sara Duterte, hindi daw niya alam kasi hindi naman daw lahat dumadaan sa kanya.
Well, I understand.
And these papers or these acknowledgement receipts were passed, diba, or submitted to Commission on Audit.
Yeah, pero
Can you imagine?
I understand yung I understand sinasabi ni VP Sara na ministerial usually ang duty ng pinaka-head ng isang department with regards to finally approving yung ginastos mo, kung ano yung ginastos mo. But an amount this big, alam mo talaga saan napunta yan. I mean, any CEO of any company, kahit hindi ka na involved sa ministerial duties down the line, aalamin mo, ang laking pera nito.
Exactly.
Sa saan napunta ito? Sino pumirma nito? Akin na yung disbursement. Let me check this, pa-audit natin. Ang sagot mo is, parang you don't even care na how this was disbursed. You don't even care how the acknowledgement receipts look. Diba? It's just hard to believe it for a lot of people na who are hungry or scraping daw 200 pesos a day para mag-survive, and yet
you have all these amounts of money, diba? Nasa
and placed in duffel bags.
Oo nga Pero yun nga move over, sabi nila kay Mary Grace Piatos, dahil merong panibagong pangalan ang nag-surface dyan sa hearing yesterday, that is Kokoy Villamin, na apparently nakasign dun sa mga ARs or acknowledgement receipts that were submitted to COA. At
iba-ibang pirma.
Iba yung stroke ng pirma, pero parehas ang pangalan.
Oo nga. Not like yung Mary Grace Piatos, iisa daw ang stroke.
Tsaka yung timeline of acknowledging or yung accepting the budget, 'di ba? Parang sobrang bilis daw. Parang may sinasabi doon sila Congressman Adjong na at that time parang kunyari today, Tuesday, naibigay yung acknowledgement receipt sa Bulacan. Tapos biglang Wednesday nabigay na agad yung acknowledgement receipt sa ibang lugar na malayo. So parang kahit mag-helicopter ka daw doon, parang it's impossible.
Kaya nga it's high time na sinasabi ng congressman na maybe we should take a look at how the confidential funds are disbursed.
Problema kasi yun nga, 'di ba, ang nakagawian na sa atin kapag confidential funds, hindi mo pwede talagang isa-isahin yan, lalo na kung it will ang tawag doon, kaakibat nito yung national security. 'Di ba? Kaya hindi mo siya pwedeng i-line item. Kung meron kang budget, nakakumpul lang siya dyan, hindi mo pwedeng isa-isahin.
Baka pwede natin gayahin yung sistema ng mga European nations na meron silang external auditor per department. Now, they're not part of the department, but they are inside the department. They report to somebody else. So anytime may confidential fund or parang sa CIA, every time money is disbursed sa mga agents on the field through confidential funds, wala nang pinahahawakan ng operational leaders dyan. Ang umaayos
parang
nito,
may independent body to check to make sure na talaga it goes to the proper...
Parang mga forensic accountants. Diba?
Kasi nga sabi nga na confidential, hindi dapat pinag-uusapan. Pero yun nga, hindi talaga ito masasagot unless a-attend doon si Vice President Sara Duterte. Kasi nakakaalam siya. Tsaka yung iba pang mga officials. Diba? Yung mga names that were listed na kasama sa ILBO, mga Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order, hindi pa rin nila nakikita. Ito pa lang yung nag-appear yesterday, yung kanyang Chief of Staff, staff na si Lopez.
But lumalalim ang issue at I'm
Pero
sure...
sinabi ni dagdag ko lang ni VP Sara na kung madedetain, 'di ba kasi na contempt na cite in contempt itong si Lopez, yung kanyang chief of staff. Kung madedetain, sasamahan daw niya.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Sounds like her dad.
All right.
And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro. And he is Angelo Castro III. We are One News, all sides, all the time.